Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on TNA, Impact Wrestling, and the news that's going around the world with TNA. Angelina Love is no longer in TNA. She has been released from her TNA contract and has changed her name back to Angel Williams. PW Insider reports that Scott Steiner has officially been served with his lawsuit from TNA and has until July 19th to respond. It appears that the mystery man who attacked Sting on TNA Impact Wrestling 3 weeks ago has started a Twitter account, and the name of the account is at the Aces and Eights. As you've seen on Impact last night, they had a segment that Hogan was delivered an envelope, and it had a stack of cards with the Aces and Eights in it. Yeah, well, they posted a few tweets on Twitter linking the attack to the attack photos and video. The only Twitter account they are following is Sting's official account, and their Twitter bio reads like this, quote, "The dead man's hand is a two-pair poker hand, namely Aces and Eights. Hold that hand and your face is sealed. And your fate is sealed. As Sting was first. See who's next." Their tweets were retweeted by TNA writer Dave Lagana this weekend, but he quickly deleted them, and there's still no confirmation that the account is legitimate. AEW took part in a media conference call promoting this Sunday's Destination X pay-per-view. Here are some of the highlights. Auditioning for Tough Enough, WWE Tough Enough. It was basically an audition for a television show. People kind of want to make more out of it, more than it is. But I was dealing with a talent agency. I was dealing directly with the company itself, and the decisions that were made through them. I've done other stuff outside of wrestling where I've gone to auditions for different types of roles and parts and didn't get them. I've done other stuff. It has nothing to do with acumen as an actor or, in this case, as a wrestler. But more or less what they are looking for to fill those roles. It was one of those situations where I was asked if I wanted to throw my hat in the ring. I had actually nothing to lose, but it certainly wasn't something I was pinning my hopes on or that devastated me. Anyone who is an actor in the entertainment business, you go out there for a lot of different roles. Sometimes you get the part, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Working with Kevin Nash during his first TNA run, and he's quoted by saying, I have nothing but fond memories of Kevin. The whole time we did the whole paparazzi production thing, and I was associated with him. I think Kevin is a great guy, and he is a very smart business-wise. To what we do. I felt nothing but positive vibes from him. Honestly, I look back at a lot of the guys who were doing it with me at the same time would agree that those paparazzi production skits were some of the most fun and I had doing wrestling. It was really just a bunch of guys and just going out there and creating moments and having a good time playing off of each other. I think Kevin was a big part of it. I think there was always that perception that he didn't feel like like smaller guys are used to situations to better himself only. But I never got the sense of that. And there were a couple of situations where he had our back, and we wanted to make sure that we were all doing the best that we could, and the company was doing the best that they could for us. And then he goes on comparing his current stint in TNA with his first, comparing my two runs with TNA. Maybe the first time around, timing wasn't right, or the opportunities wasn't quite what I was hoping for. On the second time around, they gave me some rope, either to climb the ladder or hang myself. So far, I've been climbing. Honestly, when I walked in, I didn't have any expectations. I just knew I had opportunity, and it took it one step at a time. What I did try to have this time around was patience, and let my work speak for itself. Let the opportunity present themselves, and then take advantage of them. I don't think I would have foreseen myself being in this situation after a year in the company, but I've always been confident in my abilities and appreciate the opportunity to prove my talent and that I belong at the top of the card. Then he goes to comments about being a champion. I think not everybody is equipped to be a title holder or a champion. I like to think whatever belt I held through my career, I've carried professionally and with a certain amount of respect that people can look at it and say, well, all right, this title belt has worth. It means something. I had some issues with belts that I've held from people who have held them before me. But what you do is go out there and do the best of your part and go forward. You try to make sure every time you walk out there that the people feel like they are seeing the main event. Hopefully, we are going to do that again on July 8th at Destination X with Bobby Roode. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be in the main event against the World Heavyweight Champion. I think that belt has a lot of worth right now. It should be a great match. Hopefully, the best man wins. And that was all he commented on. There's some news. There will be an event where TNA star Sting, Lex Luger, and Nikita Koloff will be teaming to appear at an Open Bridge Church in McDonough, Georgia. August the 5th, the church is located at 136 Hood Street, McDonough, Georgia. Thanks to .NET reader James Rudder. That's James Rudder. And this is a part of Sting's evangelism tour. So that's why he's taking a small little break. Ring of Honor wrestler Adam Cole, a.k.a. Austin Jenkins, turned 23. He was born on July 5th, 1989. Cole is one of the bright young stars of the Ring of Honor promotion, and he made headlines over the weekend. As spoiler related. I believe I've already did that on my previous video. Jerry Sags, a.k.a. Jerry Saganovich, turned 48. He was born July 5th, 1964. And Brutus Beefcake is scheduled to appear at the Abbotsford Agri Fair on August the 4th and 5th in Abbotsford, British Columbia. For more info on that event, visit agrifair.ca. Thanks to Devin Cutting of Pro Wrestling Events.tk. Okay, the following matches are advertised for the 11 p.m. Central Time airing of AWA on ESPN Classic. That was on Thursday night. Tony Leon versus Larry Zbyszko. Spike Jones versus John Nord. That's Nord the Barbarian for those that don't know. Jake Milliman and Kent Carlson versus the Hangman. I'm guessing that's the Texas Hangman. George Anderson versus Colonel De Beers, and Russian Brute versus Sergeant Slaughter. And Impact Wrestling results for July the 5th, 2012. Bully Ray starts off the show coming out to the ring and announces that he is officially going live on Twitter. The crowd chants that he sucks. But he says they'll change it. They'll change his mind when he's trending worldwide, and plugs his Twitter at Real Bully 5150. Joseph Park grew a backbone and slapped him in the face, but after he came down. But he wants Joseph Park to get his ass out there right now. Okay, that Joseph Park was a replay from last week. Park comes out with a determined look on his face, and Bubba says that Park slapped him in the face, and it gave Bubba some free legal advice. In law, they have a thing called precedent, and the precedent was set when he beat Bubba at Slammiversary. Bubba pushes they push each other, and Bubba pushes Joseph back and says that he can take his precedent and shove it up his. Wait a minute. Park's done listening. He's sick of Bubba pushing his will on everyone, and he's going to continue to precedent next week and beat Bubba again. Bubba makes sure that it's the same as Slammiversary, and it's anything goes. And Bubba says if that's what Park wants, he better be worried about it. Well, he's given Bubba a restraining order. Bubba got against his brother Abyss. Okay, if Abyss sets foot anywhere near Bubba, he's going to have Abyss sent to jail for the rest of his life. Park looks moderately caught off guard by that, and then looks even more caught off guard when Bubba cheat shots him from behind and lays him out. Elbow to the head, back of the head. Alright, next segment's up. Hulk Hogan and Austin Aries are backstage, and Hogan says Aries is 3 days away from the biggest night of his life, and he'll need that X Division title back. Aries said he'll do it as long as there's no shenanigans. And Hogan says that he wants Aries to go get the other one because he needs to make a statement. Okay, we look back at last week's Impact Wrestling when Christopher Daniels dropped the bomb that AJ is the father of Claire's bastard child, and then we learn that AJ is going to respond to the allegations later tonight. We then go to footage shot earlier tonight where Dixie was sitting around with the agents and talking about new X Division talent they're very high on, and a mystery cameraman asked Dixie Carter if she's spoken to Claire, and she says she hasn't. The mystery cameraman continues to show that nobody in the company has any respect for Dixie by continuing to press her with further questions, and she does everything but tell him to get lost before he needs to start looking for another job. First match up, TV title match, Devon versus Crimson. Crimson attacked Devon before the bell and tried a quick roll-up for a quick hand with a handful of tights a couple of times, then another, but only gets a 2. Crimson with a back elbow and cradles Devon with his feet on the ropes, but still only gets a 2. Crimson with a snapmare and a diving lariat for a 2, and then we find out that Billy Ray is in fact trending on Twitter, but Devon nearly breaks Crimson in half with a spear. Now Devon is on the offense, hitting a series of clotheslines and running back elbows and running a splash in the corner. But then he comes off the ropes right into a hard clothesline for Crimson. Crimson again tries to pin Devon with a handful of tights, but he hits the ropes and walks into the spine buster to give Devon the win. Let's see. Madison Rain came out looking super horny and stares down Devon. And then goes over and crawls onto referee Earl Hebner, who apparently is her man that she's been looking for. And she starts making out with him in the corner and then walks off as Taz makes jokes about Hebner being scared stiff by Madison. And then they show Chris Sabin backstage, and he's hobbling on his crutches as he's headed to the ring. And as they go to commercial, the back for commercial, Chris Sabin is already in the ring on his crutches and looking really pissed off. He said that he's had a lot on his mind the past few weeks because he's always dreamed about becoming a professional wrestler, and his dream has turned into a nightmare. It wasn't until he got home and talked with his friends and loved ones that they told him that he shouldn't be doing this anymore. And he ought to consider retiring and doing something else with his life. Sabin says it didn't stop there because a few days ago the doctor looked at him right in the eyes and told him that he came back from one ACL reconstruction, but two is too much and he should consider retiring and finding something else to do with his life. Well, at that point, Bobby Roode's music hit. And the world champion comes out, wiping false tears from his eyes. Roode says that this is such a sad story, and all of the world, all the years that they've known each other, to see him come out here on crutches with a knee brace and wearing sunglasses, he thinks it's pathetic, just like every other X-Division wrestler in the company. He's pathetic. He pisses and moans about his injuries. Jesse Sorensen's walking around with a broken neck, and all the X-Division wrestlers are the same because they risk it all every day and get nothing in return. Speaking of risk, the poster child of their division is going to risk it all when he gives up his X-Division title and gets in the ring to challenge the It Factor for the world title. When it's all said and done, a double will be just like Chris Sabin, taking all the risk, getting no reward, and having his career ended just like that, or just like this. And he's as he's snapping his finger, Roode kicks Sabin's leg out from underneath him with the crutch. Roode taunts Sabin and tells him to go ahead and fight back. But Roode stomps on Sabin's knee again and runs off. And when Aries runs down to make the save and to check on Sabin. Okay, in another match, X-Division Tournament qualifier, Dakota Darsal. Yes, Dakota Darsal. That's Barry Darsal's son. Well, he faced off against Flip Casanova. Darsal and Casanova go toe-to-toe until Darsal hits a big clothesline to make Casanova smash into smithereens. Casanova toe holds Darsal into the bottom rope and then slingshots over the ropes into a baseball slide, then hits a leaping forearm smash in the corner. Casanova with a standing moonsault into a vertical splash for a 2. That didn't look like it felt good, nor did the textbook drop kick. Darsal drilled Casanova with before sitting on the top of him and repeatedly drilling him in the face with right hands. Casanova does more springboard flippy stuff and uses a head scissor to send Darsal out to the floor. Casanova kicks Darsal square in the mouth and comes off the ropes with a twisting dive. They go back in where Casanova comes off the top with a crossbody, but Darsal rolls through and hits a series of stomps. And an elbow drop for a 2. Darsal goes for a moonsault and misses. And we see that his face is covered with blood from the kick that he got kicked from Casanova. And Casanova going up top for a shooting star press into another vertical splash. Square onto Darsal's chest for the win. If I were Dakota Darsal, I would seriously kick the shit out of Flip Kendrick. When I got to back to the locker room for the sloppy-ass way he wrestled at that match. Seriously, Casanova potatoed Darsal like 3 or 4 times, and I realized on the replay of their finish that he kicked Darsal in the face again, and on the way down before his ass landed on Darsal's sternum. Okay, next segment was Brooke Tessmacher backstage, saying that she'll beat Gail Kim next week, like it would have been done tonight, but they rescheduled it for next week for unknown reason. But instead, she'll now get to team with her BFF, Tara. Their tag team name used to be TNT. Tara and Tessmacher. Well, Tara tells her boo that Brooke makes her and everyone else, whoever held that title, proud. We look back at last week when Taylor Hendricks earned her TNA contract, and then we go back to the ring. Gail Kim and Madison Rayne tag match versus Tara and Boo. Yep, so it's Boo Tessmacher now. So I guess another name change. Madison blindsides Brooke before the bell and knocks her out to the floor, then goes after her and rams her right into the guardrail. Back in the ring, Madison covers Brooke and gets a 2, then tags in Gail, who unloads on Brooke with some martial arts kicks and hard forearms. Gail comes off the ropes with a high-impact clothesline, then hits a knee strike to the sternum. Brooke fires back with right hands and seems to catch Gail with a good one to the breadbasket. But Gail quickly regains control with a back elbow, then comes off the second rope with a crossbody. But Brooke moved out of the way, and they brawl over to the corner and she tags in Tara. They go to work on Madison Rayne. Tara with a series of clotheslines and a snap suplex. Then a cyclone side suplex for a 2. Tara goes for the Widow's Peak. Gail tries to come in, but Tara boots her in the face and rams Madison into Gail to send her to the outside before hitting the Widow's Peak on Madison. Instead of going for the corner, she tags in Boo so she can hit the Pepsi twist, and that's all she wrote for that match. AJ Styles backstage, and he's walking. As they go to commercial, they go to a video package with James Storm talking about how he let himself down when he lost that lockdown. And he watched the match over and over and over, wondering what could have been done. But now the Bound for Glory series is coming up, and it's his chance to prove that he belongs at the top. He knows where Jeff Hardy has been, but friendship doesn't pay his bills. And he's going to bring it because he knows Hardy will. We then go backstage to James Storm as he's warming up for tonight's match. And we go out to the ring where AJ Styles is out there, who, by the way, is also on Twitter. Comes out to the ring to respond to allegations of Christopher Daniels. AJ says that he was accused of an affair with Dixie Carter, and Daniels had all the kinds of evidence because a picture is worth 1,000 words. But those words were wrong. Now we want to accuse him of being the father of Claire's child, and he doesn't know what Daniels is after, but oh wait. Here comes Daniels, and out comes Frankie Kazarian. Kazarian can't believe AJ just said he doesn't get it. But what he does get is he gets junkie horse pregnant. And even after last week, when he tries to knock some sense into AJ's thick redneck skull, AJ doesn't grasp the severity of the situation. AJ says he's going to get his redneck hands around Kazarian's neck and tear his throat out. But Daniel says he is proud of that AJ is the father of Claire's baby. AJ tells him to shut up because it's not about Dixie or Claire. It's about Daniels and AJ, because Daniels wanted to match with AJ last year at Destination X. And Daniels proved what a jealous prick he is. And Daniels said, prick. He actually said, prick. I'm a prick. He is, when AJ got his hand raised. The difference between last year and this year is that AJ wants the match now. And it's the last man standing match. Daniels is no man. And AJ is going to prove it by shutting Daniels up once and for all at Destination X. Well, the mystery cameraman is backstage asking Hulk Hogan about his prediction for the main event of Destination X. But some scruffy dude with a beard come in to toss an envelope to on Hogan's desk and say that they're not cowards and they've got something for Hogan. Hogan opens up the envelope, and there's 2 aces and 2 eights, with one card face down and taped to a piece of paper, with a note saying they'll see Hogan next week. And it did actually look like one of the dudes that was actually beating Sting down. Jeff Hardy is showing backstage, getting ready for tonight's main event, and we now go to a video package with Jeff Hardy talking about what being in the BFG series means to him. And in the X Division tournament qualifier, Kenny King versus Lars Only. And this is the Ring of Honor star, Kenny King. There's a confrontation going on, an issue with his TNA showing that and Ring of Honor didn't allow him to be on the show because he's apparently still under Ring of Honor contract. But normally they coincide. Ring of Honor lets them go elsewhere, and TNA also lets them wrestle elsewhere. Well, Kenny ties up. They tie up and backs Only to the corner, break clean, and then go back and forth with some chain wrestling until Kenny hits a Japanese whizzer. Okay, Only, that's Lars, slaps King in the face, then gets an arm drag, pretty decent arm drag. Then drop toe holds King in the middle into the middle rope, and comes in with a running cross body. And Lars slides out to the floor and hits a sliding enziguri to King for a 2 count. Then drop kicks King out to the floor and he hits the ropes. But King quickly slides back in and nearly takes Lars' head off with a leg lariat for a 2. And Lars with a small package for a 2. Then King takes Lars out with a clothesline and dumps him out to the floor. And lands on King on the back of his head. Rough night for these X Division guys. They go back inside where King hits a cartwheel kick for a 2 count and misses a slingshot. Leg drop off the bottom rope, Only with a fiery clothesline. Back elbow combination, comeback, and a flying head scissors just barely sends King awkwardly out to the floor. And Lars swings around the ring post to hit another flying head scissors, and then goes out inside and rolls King up for a schoolboy roll up for a 2. Lars goes to the second rope, hits another flying head, hits a tornado DDT, and Kenny King blocks it. And I don't know what they were trying to do on this next move, which they botched the spot and only covered for an unimpressive 2 count. And Lars and King go to the second rope as Lars shoves King off backwards. And King cartwheels backwards and lands on his feet. Then he leaps up with an enziguri and drills Lars with the Royal Flush for the win. Yeah, the Royal Flush is his finisher. Christy Hemme catches up with Kenny King after the match and asks how it feels to be going to Destination X. And he says he came here to make an impact. And this Sunday at Destination X, a king will be crowned. And off he goes to the back, into the Wild Blue yonder. And we got James Storm and Jeff Hardy backstage. And their match is up next. We go to a video package of a double, talking about how he was 150 pounds when he got into the wrestling business and was never going to get a job because he was 6'4". But he's done what he needed to do to get ahead. While Bobby Roode's been whining winning with beer bottles, he says he's been winning with brain busters and he wants to use his current accomplishments to move on to greater accomplishments. Until he reaches that goal, he can't rest on any laurels. And we go to backstage to Aries and King, as were former buddies in Ring of Honor. So they hug each other, and that was the end of that segment. And King actually talks to Aries and says he wants to follow in Aries' footsteps. Aries says if he keeps wrestling like that, he'll definitely be a big champion before too long. I assume he means in TNA. The mystery cameraman, who has been a real pain in the arse tonight, asked Aries if he's still planning to hand over the belt to Hogan tonight. And Aries says that Hogan will have the belt in his hands by 10 p.m. And then we get a look at the Bound for Glory series scoreboard. And James Storm, also on Twitter, is still in first place, with Samoa Joe with sneaking behind with second place. And coming in third and around the corner is Brutus Magnus. And they go to the ring for more action in the Bound for Glory series, and which is your main event as well. James Storm versus Jeff Hardy. They made their ring entrances, and they tie up, and Storm quickly goes to the arm. Hardy reverses to an arm wringer of his own and tries for the twist of fate right away. But Storm twists away and goes for the last call. Super kick. Hardy dodges that and then sends Storm to the ropes, but gets taken down with a shoulder block. Now Hardy comes off the ropes and takes Storm down with a shoulder block. Storm snapmares Hardy for a 2. Hardy sweeps Storm's leg and covers for a 2. As we're informed that Katie King is trending on Twitter as well. Storm and Hardy fight over a top wrist lock. Hardy slips out and hits the ropes and again dodges Storm's super kick and dumps Storm to the floor. Hardy tries to charge, but Storm drops back to the floor as the crowd is going nuts for both gentlemen. The crowd is definitely a lot more audible tonight than usual. They tie up and they are at a stalemate as we go to commercial break. Back from the break, and Hardy has Storm down in a rear chin lock. Storm backs Hardy into the corner and rams shoulder blocks and into the breadbasket. But Hardy leapfrogs Storm into a flying head scissors and drops a leg for a 2. Storm turns it around with a series of clotheslines, but Hardy with a clothesline of his own. Hardy with a double leg takedown, leg drop splits, and leg drop splits the uprights, and a diving drop kick gets a 2. Hardy looks frustrated as he comes after Storm in the corner, but Storm gets his elbow up and comes off the second rope with a tornado death drop, and that gets a 2 count for Storm. He then charges Hardy, but gets himself over the top rope, right into the code breaker from Storm. Storm and Hardy both just beat the 10 count to get in the ring. And Storm is first to his feet. Storm hits a hard running clothesline and slowly gets up again. Hardy dodges a charge in the corner and knocks Storm on his butt with an inverted enziguri. Hardy with a slingshot drop kick in the corner, and then he comes off the top with a swanton. As Storm moves out of the way, Storm drags himself up, and now he goes up top and hits a leaping elbow drop for a 2. More like a side elbow. CM Punk does the elbow from the top rope. Well, that's very similar. Storm sets up the super kick, but Hardy can't get to his feet. Storm pulls him up and goes for the last call again, but Hardy ducks and he hits a twist of fate for the win. So Jeff Hardy has got himself 7 points in the match from that great win. A very good match, and the crowd really added a lot to this. Then they shake hands and hug after the match as they go to the leaderboard to see that Storm remains in first. Hardy is now tied for third with Brutus Magnus. Then we run down the card for this weekend's Destination X as we go backstage to see Hogan. And he's walking, getting ready to come out to the ring. As Mike Tenay and Taz reveal that this year's Bound for Glory will take place in Phoenix, Arizona. Then we go to Kurt Angle as he discusses how much he respects Ken Anderson and how beating him means he can be a world champion. Well, Ken Anderson says that the BFG series means everything for him, and like his father told him, he needs to do it right the first time or not do it at all. We run through some matches for the next week on Impact. And then we go back to the ring for our closing promo segment, which is none other than Hulkster himself coming out to a great reaction from the crowd. And he calls a double out to the ring. Instead, Bobby Roode's music hits, and out he comes to the ring with a look of purpose on his face. Roode tells Hogan to shut up, and he says that he said he is no Austin Aries. He is a real world champion. And the only reason AEW has an opportunity against it factor is because of Hogan. Hogan drank his Kool-Aid and bought into his option C, but this Sunday option C will be a failure. Hogan is given nothing but false hope and false promises to the fans. AEW and the entire X Division this Sunday at the Destination X when Roode ends the career of AEW. The failure of the entire X Division and the blood of Austin Aries will be on Hogan's hands. Well, Aries' music hits, and out he comes to tell Bobby that this is a reoccurring theme where he thinks he can come out here and dictate things whenever he wants. Maybe he can since he's the world champion, but where he thinks he can come up. Let's see. But Roode better bask in that while he has that privilege, because on this Sunday, Aries is going to be the world champion. Aries is to forget everything that's happened over the last few weeks and hang on to the belt until Sunday. Then there's option C, where they don't have to wait until Sunday. And they can do this right now because Aries isn't scared of Roode. He then says they go for option C. They can do it. Okay, I already read that. And, okay, well, Roode starts tearing his jacket off, and Aries gets in his face. He says he's not afraid of him. He then says he's not worth it, and Roode says he's not worth it, walks off again. Roode tries to cheap shot Aries with the belt, but AEW ducks and knocks Roode out with the X Division title belt, and then parades around the ring with both belts before handing the X Division title back to Hogan as Roode backpedals up the entrance ramp to end the program. And that ends the TNA results for July 5th, and also the video. And, okay, well, that's it for this week. God bless. Peace out. Sayonara. Aloha. All the good jazz. Have a great week.